day again, with Australia finishing on 144 for 8. So they're 218 runs ahead. This is only at the close of the second day. Mitchell Starc 16 not out. Crucial partnership with Alex Carey, who's dismissed before the close. Edward to Rabada for 43. Starc was dropped in the last over of the day. 7 genuine edges and good drivable edges all failed to carry to the cordon in the last 15 overs. I mean, incredibly frustrating for South Africa, and it kind of explained really why that catch of Starc's went down, because he was so close standing up there. We'll get all the facts in a second, but let's just go down to Simon Mann.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I've got Mitchell Starc with me. He hadn't had a chance to go up to the dressing room. He's still got his bat in hand, his pads on. Well, what about that day, Mitchell?
Yeah, I mean, carried on from yesterday, I guess. You bowl good balls or good areas, good spells, you're going to be rewarded. So, maybe a few loose shots over the course of the 2 days, but I think across both days we've seen some quality bowling.
Is that been the main factor? I was going to say, what have been the factors that have caused so many wickets to go down for so few runs?
There's still enough in the wicket. I think when the as it is in England, when it's overcast, the ball seems to do a little bit more. So there's certainly enough there. I think, as I said before, good quality bowling attacks. There's been some good spells of bowling. I mean, a few guys have been unfortunate, I guess, and a few loose shots. But I think everyone's quick to jump on batters. But I think you got to I guess notice the good bowling from both sides.
Yeah, and one of those wickets for you in that South African innings, but also Pat Cummins as well. 300 Test match wickets. What about that?
Yeah, he does it time and time again. I think he's led from the front, whether before he was captain and now as captain as well. I think today everyone saw the quality and the skills that he has in his pocket. So, no, thrilled for him to obviously get the bag full today, but go past 300. I think it's a special effort. He's been quality for a long time.
Just on the bowling effort, I mean, how easy or difficult has it been to come sort of off white ball cricket, out of the IPL, into a match of this magnitude?
I think both groups of bowlers have played multiple formats for a long time, so it's nothing new. It's no different to last year or the year before, coming either from no cricket into in 23 we came over to an Ashes series on the back of no cricket. So it's I think it's part and parcel of international cricket for guys that play multiple formats, and that's the case for both bowling attacks.
What about the state of the game? The lead of just over 200, a couple of wickets left.
Yeah, nice to go past that 200 lead tonight. Nice to put a little bit of a partnership together there with Alex tonight and see what we can do tomorrow. But I still think there's plenty in that wicket. The new Duke's ball, Pat Cummins coming off the back of his first innings efforts. It's going to be an interesting day 3 and perhaps day 4 as well.
Does 200 feel enough in these conditions?
I think we showed in the first innings that bowling out for 138, you bowl enough good stuff for long enough, they're going to present a lot of opportunities. So, I mean, it's not exactly going up. I think the wicket's starting to go down. Obviously, we've got Nathan Lyon, who didn't play much of a part in the first innings, but if it does start to take a little bit of turn, we've got one of the greatest off spinners Australia's ever produced. So, I think we've got the tools in the shed. It's just about putting that into practice tomorrow. Hopefully a few extra runs with the bat and then go to work with the ball.
Great, thanks very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Mitchell Starc, yes, who hung on there. He was dropped in that last over. He's got some batting and some bowling to do tomorrow. So nice to hear from him. So Andy, I just put that question to you about this. Can we just put the 2 days into context? There's sort of a flurry of activities, like sort of a blizzard of wickets and stats.
Very similar days. Yesterday, 14 wickets for 255 in 78.4 overs. Today, 14 wickets for 239 in 75.5. So, all action.
It is extraordinary. Cookie's here, Firdousi's here as well. When we looked at that pitch before the toss, Alistair, it looks a docile thing. I mean, you wouldn't have think 28 wickets would go down in 2 days.
Well, just when I first turned up and I looked at it, I thought that's a lot less grass than we're used to. And I think when I kind of played and when over the last couple of years, we always tried to leave a bit more grass at Lords because we thought no grass would mean it would die very quickly and become a very slow, low wicket and almost subconsciously and Nicks didn't carry. Now Nicks haven't carried in this last hour, but that last over from Alder, those balls are still nipping quite a long way for a ball which I would say is 30 odd overs old, more than I expected, and certainly like looking at the wicket from where I saw it this morning, and I'm sure when I look at it tomorrow morning, it doesn't look like a nippy wicket.
No, it
looks like a good batting wicket, but quite clearly it is favouring the bowlers by quite a lot, and I think the stats of suggesting it hasn't nipped as much as it normally does, I think are slightly misleading, because just watching, certainly today, I can't really remember many shots timed.
Yeah.
And that is an indication of whether the pitch is slightly too paced, as Jonathan Trott loved to say as a batsman. But it just seems as too many batsmen aren't timing the ball, which is there's probably more margin for error for the bowlers, knowing you can't actually be hit off that length.
Yeah. The other option, I suppose, of it not carrying is the ball going soft. But there's been no effort to try and change it, has there? They haven't seen them show.
They haven't done the Stuart Broad
No,
change
they
it,
haven't.
which maybe is a tactic they probably should have tried.
Yeah.
But they're probably saying, well, we're doing enough anyway. We keep getting, they were 70 for 7, picking up the wickets. It's been an extraordinary day, and I think that last drop, everyone will say, "Oh, he should have caught it," but he is so close there.
Yeah,
he is so close, and the reason you don't stand that close all the time is you've got to give yourself that chance. And actually, he was in the perfect position to catch it. He just hit him that probably half a yard quicker than he thought, whatever that is. So therefore, your hands aren't quite in the right position. Otherwise, you would stand an inch away from the bat because you know everything will carry. So I'm actually going to... He was so close. You actually saw the Australian dressing room, didn't they? They kept zooming into him, them going... Well, they're talking about it. I bet they're probably saying, God, they're so close. If one does carry here, and we have seen a few balls just carry a bit more, the keeper out of nowhere, and that one there, therefore, it just hits me a little bit hard. So yes, you can always say that every catch should be taken, but I feel I feel a bit sorry for Janssen there.
He was in a difficult position, crowd behind as well, all those sorts of things that you get as a slip field that it makes easy for those. Cool. You've been on a roller coaster today.
2 days of roller coaster now, actually. I mean, I'm starting to feel a little bit ill, actually.
Extraordinary day, isn't it? So
it really was.
Wind predictor, for what it's worth, and he's a bit volatile, wind predictor. It goes all over the place. 50-50. That's what it's
right
saying.
Now,
at the
50-50.
50-50.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's probably closer to 65-35.
For Australia.
If I was to say, for Australia. I think anything over 200 is going to be really tough. Initially, I thought 140, let me be honest. I thought it would be quite difficult for South Africa. Then 180, and now 200. And I don't know. I mean, I think if we edge towards 240, no, it's not going to happen.
The only thing I say, I actually agree. I think Australia are further ahead than 50%.
Yes, so do I. Yeah.
However, the modern player is far better suited to a target, and when it kind of the clarity it gives a modern player, I think will help. But I tell you what, they have to do, a bit like they did yesterday after batting last night. They are going to have to come out and say, right, we are going to have to play a certain way and all buy into it. It's amazing what that will do to the dressing room and say, right, we are going to try and chase these at 5 and over. And because I genuinely think if they try and do it in 70, 80 overs, they won't get anywhere near it. Yeah. But I think they will need to sit there and go, if we're going to lose, I would rather, like maybe the captain, maybe the coach, if we lose, I want to lose us playing big, not reckless, I'm not talking running down charge, but I'm thinking, right, we are literally going from ball one to put them under pressure, drop and run it and just go for it that way. And it's amazing how quickly in a small chase, I was still taking up to 240, 250 is a small chase compared to 400. Obviously it's a lot less, but that takes one person playing the innings of a lifetime, and they get there. Yeah. And there is plenty of people who can play an innings of a lifetime to do it. You obviously need a bit of sport, a bit of luck, but I think that's the clarity South Africa need, and they are in this game. But I don't think them batting time against this bowling attack will do it. And if they want to take any inspiration, is the English batsmen. I know they didn't win the series, and I know Australia are still quite saying they didn't lose the series, but Pat Cummins averaging 37, Pat Cummins going at 4 runs and over is the way that they're going to win this game.
Yes.
And two things actually, Cookie, that I think have to happen for that to take place, because I think you're right on that South Africa have to come out with a little bit more proactivity. Ryan Rickleton's got to come off, and he's been in really good form. He's also a very attacking batter, and they've got to put David Bedingham in at number 3. So I'd move Vian Mulder down the order, let him come and bat 6 or 7, keep Tristan Stubbs where he is because he's creative in that position, keep Temba where he is, and push Bedders up the order.
It could be does, it could be a massive day for South African cricket tomorrow. But and I'm not going to say it, but if they were to score a challenging target and win here, that's going to have a massive impact on South African cricket.
It'll change everything, right? It'll change all the perceptions about them, how they respond to pressure, what they're able to do in big moments, and especially this group of players, inexperienced guys without really superstars, especially not batting superstars. So it will change everything. We've said that a lot of times over the last couple of years, and we always think this is it. It also creates pressure and expectation on the players. So as much as I want to think that, I'm also a bit nervous to think it, and I'm nervous for them to start thinking it.
It's got to happen sometime for Dose. Simon Mann.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yes, I've got Lungi Ngidi with me, the bowling start of the day for South Africa. Well, the game situation, how do you see it?
Look, I'd say it's in the balance right now. We're in a very important position. I think they 218 ahead, 2 wickets in hand. If we can come in tomorrow morning, knock those over, we'll be chasing maybe a 225. Look, I think people are going to get their money's worth. It's in the balance right now, but I think we're in a decent position, yeah.
Well, they probably already had their money's worth, haven't they? It's been a gripping couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what a Test Championship final should bring. A lot of guys have stepped up and put their hands up. So, yeah, it's been really exciting. Very tough cricket out there as well.
What's it been like to play in front of this Lord's crowd as well? It seems like equal support for both sides, passionate support for both sides as well.
Yeah, before we batted, we thought it was pretty much on our side. And then when Australia started bowling, I realized, damn, they've got just as much support as we've got. So it is pretty balanced, but it is very nice because, the game has ebbed and flowed, and, I guess everyone is enjoying what they're seeing.
So you're 74 behind on first innings. Australia go out to bat again. What's the feeling in the dressing room at that stage? Because you got in a situation when you batted today where you thought, actually, we might get up around their score.
Yeah, obviously very disappointing not to get there, but I think, we're up against a world-class bowling attack, and any slight mistake you make is a chance for them. So, I give credit where credit's due. The guys bowled well. They put us under pressure. Unfortunate to be, that many behind, but, once we started bowling, we still realized that there was still enough in the wicket to bring it closer, to bring that margin down. And just finding a bit of rhythm, that's all I was really looking to do. But, if you told me this was the position we'd be in at the end of the day, I definitely would have taken it.
Yeah. I kind of alluded to it there. You really got into the game, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously been a very long time since I've played Test cricket, but...
What about 9 months, 10 months, something like that?
Yeah, and that's okay with me. I obviously know why I was selected, so it doesn't make a difference to me. Opinions or whatever it is. I was just struggling with a bit of rhythm from this side. Swapped ends, and I felt a lot better. And once you get a moment like that, you don't want to really let it go because it could change the game. So I just kept going until my legs pretty much told me that's enough now.
That was your second longest spell in Test cricket. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. And I was planning on going a little bit more, but, once you start making a few errors that could let the team or the opposition in, then it's probably, time to call it, know when you've done enough.
What was the favourite wicket? Steve Smith?
I think definitely Steve Smith, because he did get the better of me in the first innings, and Bo Webster as well, because they were definitely putting me under pressure in the first innings. But once I got a bit of rhythm and the ball was moving around a bit, I felt very confident against them.
So the message is turn up tomorrow and enjoy your day because it's going to be something special.
That's right. Got an exciting, obviously, first hour. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, and then we into bat.
Thanks very much. Well bowled today.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to hear from Lungi and Ngidi there. 3 for 35, and they were key wickets as well. Smith, and then Webster, and then Cummins as well, who come out to try and play with some hostility and some aggression. We'll continue, I'm sure, to keep wondering as to why these wickets have gone. So, just look at the scores of this game. I mean, it's remarkable. 212 all out, 138 all out, 144 for 8. It's just not what you associate. I wonder if nerves is part of it and part of the big occasion, and as well as the lack of red ball preparation. We mentioned those bowls again. 9 bowls is a high average, isn't it? A high stat.
What I've enjoyed about this game and aspect is, you talk about one day cricket, and we had a lot of T20 cricket, and we the PSL, IPL, and every run seems vital. But actually, today, every run seemed even more vital than those because you're seeing, you're thinking over a 5-day game. The no balls, how much of an impact will they have? You don't really want to bowl them in what T20 cricket is a free hit, but suddenly now that I don't know how many extras have they bowled. Like it's you're starting to. Test cricket has that thing, doesn't it? And you think the first session, only 1 wicket fell down. I don't think anyone else predicted would have been in this situation. Test cricket has been at its best today in terms with the ball dominating. I just wanted to say one thing about the South African thing is no one's ever going to hand them an ICC trophy.
No.
But tomorrow it's going to be all over tomorrow one way or another unless the weather plays a part. But someone in that dressing room could become that hero which plays. I was talking about innings of a lifetime which breaks their duck. No longer will they be the side which hasn't won an ICC event, but it will take something special. And I just wonder whether tomorrow is that day where a Bellingham or a Tristan Stubbs or someone puts their hand up and plays that innings which gets South Africa over the line, where you'd actually say that Australia are heavy favourites their bowling attack on this wicket, that you can't see them doing it, but because it's a low-scoring game, and that would be my motivation. I think if I was the leadership group of South Africa, saying go to bed thinking, do you know what, you could be the innings that people will talk about forever to break the duck, because that's how they're going to do it. They're not going to get handed one of these trophies.
No, you're right, and especially not by the Aussies, Jim.
That's true, but we may be seeing some history because, as Alistair was suggesting, something may happen to light up this chase for South Africa. And when you look at the history of South Africa since they've come back into international cricket, they really never won anything. They've had a few chokes in big semi-finals, and another game where they couldn't get their numbers right in South Africa back in 2003. So maybe this is it. Maybe the gods are smiling all of a sudden and they're going to produce something remarkable. But, on the balance of probability, you'd favour Australia. But just those signs in the pitch where it's got a little bit slower, nicks aren't carrying, so what do you keep moving forward and then you get hit in the mouth or something? So they're in the game, definitely in the game, and this could be one of the most fascinating conclusions to a major cricket match that we've ever seen. Looking forward to it.
What about those top 3 then? I know we've been talking about this a bit, but that's an area, going forwards from Australia's point of view. Labuschagne, Khawaja, Green, is that an area?
Well, since Warner retired, it's become more of a thing. They had to go with Smith up there. That didn't seem to work. Khawaja's kept going along and making enough runs convincingly in recent times. Constas came in and played perhaps the most extraordinary, refreshing match turning innings you would see, because Bumrah was so dominant in Australia.
Yes.
And this kid came out and whacked him all over the park. Not for a long time, but enough to just make you think Australia had something going for them. I just don't know where they're going to end up. They've got 8 batsmen for 6 spots. If you add Inglis and Constas to this group going to the West Indies. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. It's a very difficult decision, but I don't think Green's the number 3 at the moment. 5 balls in 2 innings.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Green is the 3, in these conditions. I think he'd be more suited in Australia, where the ball moves less. However, Jim was saying the pitches have had a trend of being a bit more nippy. That actually pace is of less relevance. The balls have nipped more, with whether it's the Kookaburra balls with extra lacquer or Australia tactically left a bit more grass on it for their bowling and their super strength, whether they wanted to still do that against England, where that kind of plays a bit more into England's hand. But if Cameron Green then goes back to bowling, he will then sit at 6 and everyone will be, and it becomes a bit different, doesn't it? He then balances that side, and then you can pick your best top 3 you think for those conditions. I think Cameron Green not bowling has meant Bo Webster then plays, and you're trying to fit things in. I think when he starts bowling, I think it'd be a very, a bit more, you can actually select to say who are our best top 3, where I'm not thinking they're doing it now. They're trying to do what's our best 11 and fitting people around.
What have you got, Andy?
Well, let's start with Pat Cummins, who reached 300 wickets today with that fantastic 6 for 28 in the first innings. He's the 8th Australian to reach 300 wickets, the 40th bowler in all Test cricket, and his average of fractionally over 22 is the second best of those 8 Australians. Only Glenn McGrath has reached 300 wickets at a lower average. He was 21.7, and the 9th best of all those 40 from all countries in terms of average at reaching 300 wickets. The top 3 you mentioned, Australia's top 3 in this game, 49 runs between them. That is their worst combined performance in a test in England since 1890 at the Oval, when Australia tried a completely different top 3 in the second innings. Cameron Green's 5-ball match equals the 4th shortest performance by a test number 3 across 2 innings of a test match where we have balls faced detail. So it's, I think, fair to say not been a roaring success. And the collapses at the end of the 2 first innings, we saw Australia lose 5 for 20 in their first innings. South Africa lost their last 5 for 12, 32 runs across the 2 innings for the loss of the last 5 wickets in the first innings. Is the 8th lowest in test history and the 2nd lowest in a test in England, and you've got to go back to 1912 for a more inept first innings tail end performance. Overall 33 balls per wicket in this match, which is the 12th lowest ever in a test in England and the 5th lowest since the First World War.
And 13 scores of double figures in the game so far.
Is the best partnership of the match that 61 we saw this afternoon?
It's been an extraordinary game.
We had 64 between Bavuma and Beddingham in the first innings. We've only had 4 partnerships over 35 in the match so far. So that's 61 by Carey and Stark might prove crucial. The no balls, the current total 19 by South Africa. Australia bowled 2 in their innings.
And that's also a sign of rhythm and playing. And, you know, when we try and look for reasons for this, the number of bowls. But, I mean, generally the bowling has been terrific. Rabada there at the end looking tired. I hope they can patch him up and get him back on tomorrow, and Geedy having to get into the game. There are signs that might account for what's going on, but it is that nervy stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's brilliant. You've got international cricketers to whom this means so much, and you can't even get an indication of that. It's the way the game has gone.
Absolutely. You know, we love cricket when it gets to knockout stages of T20, knockout stages of ODI, and most Test cricket is part of series, isn't it? You don't get the jeopardy in a series that often. But in a one-off game, or the series is 1-1 with 1 to play, that jeopardy does enhance mistakes. It does. You saw Janssen drop that catch. Yeah. And if it had been just in the beginning of the series, it would have less effect. So, been brilliant, and I think it's going to end tomorrow, one way or t'other. Are we going to see history, or are we going to see what we probably all deep down know, that Australia might do it, but someone might. Someone from South Africa.
Calm heads will prevail, Jim, do you think?
Oh, of course they will, particularly with the third umpire who'll be under the most pressure of all, I think, during the day's play. But the ICC at the moment surely feel vindicated with their conception of this, a one-off game to decide.